I guess it was about 12:15 when, as I was sitting down, I think I was looking at a book or something, I hear the alert phone in the flight security controller's office go off. And that's the phone that's directly connected to the launch control people downstairs, two officers downstairs. And it sounds like, and it rings until you pick it up. You got to snatch it off the wall. And of course, Bill Holloman did that. And I hear him saying, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Sit for November 5, which is a two-pronged alarm. It's an above ground and a below ground sensor that has been affected. And as I said, the temperature was between 9 and 13 degrees that night. So it was cold. So I had on my long johns, fatigue pants and shirt, and I had on bunny boots because I knew I was going to be doing some walking because you have to do a certain type of route around the facility on foot, inside and outside the fence line, which is a good walk. And in snow, it gets kind of a little dicey because it just does. But anyway, so we got all of our equipment. We had our weapons. We had our code tables. We had our ditty bags, which is what you carry all your stuff in. And the F-150 Ford pickup truck was sitting directly outside our front door. We keep it plugged in because it gets so cold there that it will freeze up the coolant in your engine. Or they also have a way of keeping the transmission warm with a plug-in. So unplugged that. We were set to go. The vehicle's warming up, and we got our safety briefing and everything that we needed, and off we went. And I'd say that was probably right around 12:20, 12:25, and it was a 15-minute, travel time to November 5. And strangely enough, that was the closest launch facility to our launch control facility where we lived. It was the closest one. As the crow flies, it was only maybe 5.5 miles away, but the way that you had to get there made it probably 10 miles or 8.5, 10 miles, somewhere in there. So as we left, we go through the gate out to the end of, these are all clay roads. You can go from one end of the state on the other on a clay road, and they're maintained by the state. They're very nice. Got to the intersection, hung a left. There's no traffic. Believe me, there's no traffic. And next intersection, turn left, and it's 4.5 miles from that intersection up to Highway 79, which runs down to Newell. So you're going uphill as you go down in this little depression area. You're going uphill toward the highway bed as they build them high so snow and ice runs off of them. And I just happened to look to about my 4 o'clock position, straight that way where November 5 was located. And when I did, I see this pulsation, like an orange, yellow, and white type glow coming off the ground from miles away. Should have never seen that before. And I said, hey, Michael, I said, check this out, man. I said, you see that glow over there? I said, look how, I said, can you see that? He didn't say anything yet. And as we got up to Highway 79 and we turned right, then we're on top of that plateau. And now that 4 o'clock has become like a 1:30 again. And I said, look at that, man. I'm telling you, that's that object. And why I said that, I don't know. He just said, whatever, man. And he said that to me a couple of times that night. Whatever, man. So as we traversed down Highway 79 toward Newell, to a stop sign, there's one stop sign and one stoplight in Newell. And the population then was 230 people in that town. And it was on the entrance and the exit on Highway 79. Every time I entered Newell, population was 230. When I left, it was 230. So now it's 600 and something. As I was there in 21. But as we went downhill, I lost sight of that pulsating glow. We went down to the stop sign. We took a right, and the road goes out about 1.5 miles, and then it doglegs back to the left. And as we turned left on the, not a hard left, just a dog leg left, there sat this object on top of November 5 that was about 10 feet in the air, directly on top of that blast door that was the size of a Walmart building. This thing was as big as this building you're in right here. It was huge, and it was a sphere. It had an energy source that moved around it like you'd see pictures of the sun, how it's just like boiling. I don't want to call it plasma, but I don't know what really to call it. But there were no tail sections, no portholes. There were no thrusters. There was no leading edges of any kind, no wings, tail section, nothing that we would associate anything in the air with. It was a complete sphere, but on a magnitude that is just hard to even comprehend. So we pulled up to this thing about 60 feet on the access road to the site itself. You had these, I think the fence was either 10 or 12-foot fence with big opening gates on it. And we pulled up at a 45-degree angle right where the cattle crossing is located, because all these ranchers own this property, and the property was leased from them to put these missile sites on back in the day when they built them. So the cattle can't come out into the main road. It still happens, but it really decreases that from occurring. So we pulled up right at that cattle gate, and immediately upon doing so, it was as if a light came down that just about blew my eyeballs out of my head. You could literally almost see the veins behind your eyelids. It was as if, I don't know what kind of energy that was, but whatever was released or put down our way just completely almost disabled you just from the brightness. It was like living in a welder's light for a few moments. And then the atmosphere just vacated. Couldn't breathe. Literally could not get a breath of air. Now, I don't know if that was from my excitement. I don't know if it was from adrenaline. I'm 23 years old. I was in excellent shape. I could flat foot 25 miles in full combat dress and smoke a cigarette at the end of it. It didn't bother me a bit. Literally, I was in that kind of shape.
Wow. And
I was just so taken. Michael Johnson, I never remember him looking up at the thing. But for me, I was at a 45-degree angle, and I'm looking directly out his window, and part of the back window, this is an F-150 Ford pickup truck, a 1975 or 76, I can't remember which, but the square body type pickup truck with Western mirrors on the sides of them, 2-wheel drive vehicles. And the only thing I knew to do was to ask for relief. And where did that come from? I have no idea where that thought or impulse came from.
You pray to God or Jesus, or just relief generically?
I think he was in there, and I just asked for relief from what I was experiencing to breathe, because I didn't think I was going to be able to take another breath of air. And I grabbed my flashlight, which I've gotten ridiculed before. It was an aluminum black 3D cell flashlight. I think it was made in Japan. I'm not sure. But it was a great tool, and they just started making them. Now, Maglite didn't come out until 79. I had this in 77. It was given to me as a gift. And I rolled the window down, and I reached up with my right hand, and I grabbed onto that mirror, pulled myself up on that windowsill because I was so afraid to step out of the cab of that truck. Now, I'm fully armed. Why would I be afraid? I've never been afraid to do anything. I mean, especially in my duty, I was so afraid of what I was experiencing. I didn't know how to deal with it. I pulled myself up on the windowsill of that truck out of that seat. And, I grabbed my flashlight, and I had a glove on my left hand, and I had my flashlight in my right hand, and I had my hand on the blue bubble up on top with the glove, and I just flashed that flashlight at this thing like I did at the facility, I guess. I don't really know. And as soon as I did, it felt that I got relief. It felt like there was relief, and I just slid back down in the seat. And as I slid back down in the seat, I noticed dust particles and stuff and a way in which that cab was lit up that's hard to describe. It seemed like everything was in slow motion, like the dust that was in that cab circulating from the vent work was like it was in slow motion moving. I was like looking at it. It was like sparkles or something, or like glitter. It was like that. And I thought, what's happening here? What is this? And I was trying to breathe. I was trying to talk to Michael. Got no answer from him, as he was just stuck or glued to that steering wheel, and he was just bathed in a blue-white light. The light intensity never honestly went away. It was just it was just all encompassing. It was just all surrounding to a point where you're like trapped in light. There's nowhere to go. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. You just, I don't know. I just felt like somebody had me right where they wanted me for some reason. These thoughts and all this that I just described went by in just a couple of seconds, not minutes, but just a couple of seconds. All this just happened so fast, faster than what I've just told you. And then this black ball, about 6 times the size of a beach ball, looked as if it had vents or something on it, not round vents, but these long like lines coming down the side of it. Just, it didn't touch our truck, but it shot right down in front over the hood of this F-150. And I don't even know what to say, but it was so fast and so whatever it was doing quick that it just bounced around from every location on our truck, front, back, left, right, in front, and then it was just gone.